Hello all, welcome to the Wi-Fi monitoring for red-blue teams at Pentester Academy. Now, in this video, we will be looking at using a tool called Netmon developed by Microsoft, which allows us to use our TP-Link722N card and actually monitor packets on BGN. Now, the other interesting thing is that we do not require any other special drivers. So, as we've seen before, the 722N card is an Atheros AR9271 chipset, and all we are going to do is use the Atheros drivers for Windows to go ahead and monitor the air with this card. So, let's go ahead, plug this in. And let's go to the next step. Now, step 1 is to make sure that your 722N card is installed properly. The very first time you connect this to Windows, it should automatically download and install the device driver. There is nothing we need to do. So let's go ahead, verify that. I'm going to open up my device manager and go to network adapters. And there is my Atheros AR9271 wireless network adapter. Go ahead, double click it, click on driver, and you would find that an Atheros communication driver from 2010 still seems to be the one we are using with this card, and this is good enough for whatever activity we'd like to do. Okay, perfect. So looks like the card connected to the Windows system and the driver installed properly. Now the next step is to run Netmon. So let's go ahead and download Netmon. Okay. So if you go ahead and just search for download Netmon, the very first link is the Microsoft website's link to download Netmon or Network Monitor. Click on download. There are 3 options. I'm going to go with the last one, which says NM34x64. So this is basically the x86 64-bit version of Netmon. So let's click next. And this should automatically begin the download. Let's wait for the download to complete. And if you haven't done this before, you'll really be surprised. This is probably one of the few cards which natively with the manufacturer's driver can actually support monitor mode. Okay, let's actually click on NM34x64. Let's close our web browser, and it says, do you wish to install? Yes, I do. Click next, accept the terms. Let's go ahead, check for updates. Okay, so I'm actually going to go with complete. If I go back, there are 3 options, typical, custom, and complete. Let's just go with complete. It isn't going to take too much of space, so it's a good idea just to use complete. And then let's click install. Now this should take a bit. Now keep in mind that once this is installed, we need to make sure that we run Netmon as admin so that we can monitor interfaces and our Wi-Fi card and all of that. Okay. So now it is installing its parsers. So Netmon 34 is really 3.4, which to the best of my knowledge, unfortunately, was the last version, right? Anything good Microsoft decides to put out for the security and hacker community, it eventually kills it. Now, once Netmon is installed, what we will find is that we can go ahead and enable things like channel scan on this card. There is one little problem which I'll talk about as well, which is Netmon can crash and bring down the entire system. So you will probably end up seeing the blue screen of death if you do not follow some of the steps I'm going to tell you about in just a bit. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to do, assuming Netmon is all installed, is go to Properties and click Advanced and say Run as Administrator. Let's click OK. Continue. And now let's launch Network Monitor. Now my TP-Link card is already connected. Okay. So if you notice, we see a lot of networks selected by default. The only one which I am interested in really is the last one, which is Wi-Fi 5, which says Atheros AR9271 wireless network adapter. Okay. Now my menu is a bit garbled because I am on an extremely high resolution screen. You should be able to see create new and open capture file and whatever the menu says. So I'm just going to uncheck everything else apart from Wi-Fi 5, which is the TP-Link card, okay, which shows up as the Atheros card because of the chipset. Let's click on New, Create New, and this takes us to the actual capture window. Let's click on Capture Settings. Now, once you do that, this little thing opens up. Select the Atheros card, which is the TP-Link card, and double click. Now, when you do that, you actually notice you have something called scanning options, which automatically shows up, right? Now, any card you can find where scanning options show up, what that means is the driver supports monitor mode, and you can go ahead and use Netmon to scan the air natively with that card, right? Nothing else required. So I'm going to click on scanning options. And now if you see, it actually gives me an option to switch to monitor mode. Excellent, right? If you haven't seen this before, I'm sure you can't even believe your eyes that you are able to do this on Windows. So I'm going to click on that. Now we have two options. One is, of course, that we select the band and then we select the channel, right? The other option is actually to scan on all layers and channels, which is BGNN, which is really what I'm going to do. Once you do that, we will click Apply. Now, very, very important. Looks like, Netmon and the Wi-Fi driver, well, they don't like each other much. The problem is that once we click Apply, after that, if you try to stop Netmon from going ahead and channel hopping or click close and return to local mode or anything in this Wi-Fi scanning options window, on Windows 10 at least I can confirm that I actually end up getting the blue screen of death. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Apply and let this window be, right? I'm just going to minimize it, start capturing. Now, after a lot of experiments, what I figured out is if you want to do a clean exit from Network Monitor, the easiest way seems to be just to unplug the wireless card, right? And that makes sure that you aren't going to have a crash. So let me warn you, if you do not follow these steps exactly with the TP-Link card, there could be a crash, okay? And because it's a device driver, it is going to be a kernel mode crash, which will be a blue screen of death. Okay, I'm going to click on Apply. Once I click on Apply, you will see the channel and the layer down below change. So I clicked on Apply. And now if you notice, it says 802.11n, channel 4, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm not going to touch anything on the Wi-Fi scanning options anymore. Do not, again, let me repeat that, click on close and return to local mode. It will crash Windows 10, at least. I don't know about the other versions. Now I'm going to minimize this and then I'm going to click OK through all of these. and then click on Start to start monitoring the air. So I can click on Start, and you would notice now we end up getting Wi-Fi packets which we can download from the air. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this side window so that we can see the packets better. And let me scroll down. If you notice, we have a ton of packets depending on which channel we are on and what we are capturing, right? Fantastic. Now, if you select any one of these packets, and you would notice on the left-hand side that we can go ahead and look at the packet in greater detail, right? Just like in Wireshark. So let me open up the magnifier app. Okay. And what you'd find is that now we can go ahead and see, different parts of the packet. Here's the probe response packet in more detail, right? The destination address, here are the IEs and all of the stuff, right? Similarly, you could even go ahead and select a beacon frame. Any one of these beacon frames would do. So here is the beacon frame, and that allows you to go ahead and look at all the packets in detail, right? Fantastic. So based on this little experiment, what you'll find is that we are able to monitor Wi-Fi using Network Monitor and the TP-Link722N card. Now you can save this as a PCAP file if you wanted. So we can go to the desktop and just say Wi-Fi capture and just save this as regular cap file. I'm going to save all the captured frames. Let's do a save. Now, as I said, if you wanted to stop monitoring, the best way is just to unplug the card. I almost sound stupid saying that, but that is the only way I've found I can stop the kernel mode blue screen on Windows 10. So I'm just going to go ahead and unplug the card. Now, once I do that, well, we can close all of these windows. There we go, including this one now. Now, if you notice, we have the Wi-Fi capture file on the desktop. I'm going to use Wireshark to look at this. So let's go ahead and open up Wireshark. Okay. So here it is, Wi-Fi capture. Let's open it. And there you go. Now we can go ahead and see these packets from within Wireshark, right? Which means now you can go ahead and apply, whatever filters you've been applying within Wireshark and play with these packets and do what you want, right? Now, you could even go ahead, have a little appliance running in VMware, and you could dump all the packets into a shared folder and have arrow dump ng go through the packets so that you can pretty much use, arrow dump or any other tool which you're used to from a monitoring perspective, right? Fantastic. Okay, so that's what I had in mind. So once again, quick recap, we install Netmon, start a new capture, click on the network configuration, find the scanning options in there, start monitor mode, scan the air, and once you start getting the packets, you can look at a lot of the data traffic in there, beacon frames, probe request responses, and that is basically it, right? So the best part is, without any additional drivers, using the TP-Link722N, you can now look at raw Wi-Fi traffic. Fantastic. So that's all I had in mind. Try this out, and if you use Twitter, go ahead and let us know about your experience, and if in case you have a crash as well, we are SecurityTube on Twitter. Thanks a lot. Have a great day ahead.